Hello, hello, hello. How is everyone doing? How's everybody doing out there? Hey, Heather, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I am fine. I am fine. Don't forget, folks, tell us where you're from, country, city, state, etc. I am in the Greenville, South Carolina area. That's the upstate of South Carolina. That's where I am. And my
Nice.
dogs are going crazy right now, so you can
Of course.
probably hear them. They
I'm
waited till I
in.
went live, and now
Yeah,
they're
right.
going
There
crazy.
was nothing when we were in the green room. I didn't hear him. I thought maybe he had gotten rid of all of his animals, but no, they're
No,
letting me know
I
they're
keep
there
adding.
now.
I keep adding animals. That's the
Yes, that's why I
problem.
said all the animals. I didn't say
I
both.
know.
I didn't say the three of them.
I know.
Anyway, so yes, I am in super hot Phoenix, Arizona
Oh,
area.
I can only imagine, Heather. I can only imagine because we're up
Listen,
to like 101 for us, and that's a
oh,
lot
that's
for
horrible for
us.
you guys.
It
So
is.
that
It
is terrible.
is. But
Okay. So I know we don't nobody comes here to listen to the weather. Okay, I know that.
right.
But we have had excessive heat warnings
Mm,
for at least a week, maybe 2. I don't know. It's all
mhm,
running together with the move and stuff. So
mhm,
I don't know.
mhm.
But yeah, it's been a little crazy. But so let's go to areas that are much nicer, like Low Country, South Carolina, not too
There
far
you
from you, right?
go. That's true. Very true.
Bob in
Oh, look at
Bellevue,
there.
Washington, where he's going to tell us that
Nice.
it's a lovely 70 degrees. Thank
Oh,
you. Thank
yes. Must
you
be
very
nice,
much,
right?
Bob.
Yeah.
Donna's up in New York. So glad you joined us, Donna. And Mike joining us from near Niagara Falls, Ontario, California. I don't know. That's the word that did not want to come out. Canada. Canada. That's how you say
Call
it.
a can of worms. All right.
I don't know. I don't
All
know. All
right.
right. Oh,
So,
and it's 82 degrees where he is. That's
of course
just
it is. Of
fantastic.
course it
All right. You
is.
guys,
Yes.
listen, it's this temperature right now in the room I'm sitting in. Not even kidding.
I get
It's
it.
awful.
I get it.
Anyway, so what do you want to share with us before we get into our extremely awesome topic?
Well, you mentioned my animals, so I figured I'd go ahead and show you what they look like and where they are. So there they are. There's our newest edition over there on the left. That is our newest edition. So there's the puppies. Hey,
They
listen,
look
we're
like
live. We can
they
do
look
this, right?
like dolls. They don't even look like they're live animals. They
They're
look
not.
like
They're
little
not
stuffed
real. They're
dogs.
not. They're all
So
fake. They're not real.
Barkley, wait a minute. Barkley was the one in the middle, and he
Yeah,
looks like, can you believe what they did to
yeah,
me? That's what
I
his face looks like.
know. I know. And it's true. It's true. That is exactly. He tells us that every night. Yeah.
Puppies. That's right.
Yeah.
What is happening? Almost couldn't get on at all. Hermitage, Tennessee, checking in. Finally. Thank you, Andrew. We're
Nice.
glad
There
you
you
made it.
go.
Glad you made it, buddy.
Yes. Yes,
Um,
absolutely.
so we are tinkering with tech, and for those of you
We
who
are.
don't know, we do have a community where you can
Mm.
join and be a part of the
Mhm.
super fun stuff like Backstage Pass. You know, that's my favorite thing. And then there's
Yeah.
other stuff that you do like daily tips.
Mhm.
And there's these things called workshops and all kinds of stuff that you do out there that's just amazing. You can read all about it on the YouTube channel page information. You click that
Yep.
join now button, read which level you want to join at, and learn how you can be a part of the fun. So that's how this channel gets supported, and we appreciate all of you who do so. Thank you so much.
Absolutely. 100%. A lot of you leaving comments are in the community because I saw the little symbol that shows that you're a member
That's right. That's
of the
right.
YouTube channel. I appreciate you.
I'm
Um
showing it right there.
there you go. Yep, yep, yep. There it is. I see it.
All
So
right.
today our topic, we figured out a topic 30 seconds before we came on. No, I'm kidding.
Well, no, it was like
I'm kidding.
4 minutes. 4 minutes. I mean, we say too much in 30 seconds to say that we made the decision in 30 seconds.
Valid point. No, I've been thinking on this one for a long time, and our community, some of our community members and I were talking. So we wanted to touch on some things, and this is something I thought of, and I think it'd
I
be
know, it's
really cool to
fascinating.
touch on. I know.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of you out there who are watching can contribute. And even when you're rewatching, be sure to leave in the comments there too, because we want to see, I would love to see and hear some of your thoughts on this. So technology 50 years ago or 75 years ago. What we're talking about there is think about something you do today that 50 years ago, and since I'll be 59 this year, That was before me. I mean, I was 9. So
You were 9. Yeah.
yeah.
Wow.
So I was 9. Think about what technology you really didn't have, or what was pretty cool technology back then that is just like gone now, or whatever.
Yeah,
You can
pointless.
think of it a lot of different ways. And I know,
Yeah.
I was
One of the
telling
things
you,
I know
go
when you
ahead.
brought this up, what is the first thing I
Mhm.
said was, I think technology change that I think is fascinating. I might be the only one, but something that I think is fascinating is the technology used in something as arbitrary as football.
Yeah, it's so
The
crazy.
I mean, if you think about like when they first played football, so these are guys who are like, you know me, I'm a Packer fan. I like the Green Bay Packers. They were actually meat packers. They would pack meat during the day and then
There
they
you
go
go.
and play in the evenings or in the weekends. They played this rough game out in the field, and
Hmm.
all they put on their head was a piece of leather.
That's it. That's
That's
it.
right. You
That's
got it. You
it.
got it. Put a piece of leather on their head
I
so that
know.
they would
It's crazy.
protect their skulls just slightly.
I know. I
And
know. It's just
now the
crazy.
amount of technology that goes
It's just
into a
incredible, isn't it?
game, into
Yeah.
one position
Yeah.
of
Yeah.
the game is insane. And if you're ever interested in having that conversation a little bit deeper, I'd love to talk to you about it, because I have studied some of the different things that have changed in just the way they use their gloves, the way they
It's
make
so
them,
cool.
the different helmets. Each position has a different style. It's pretty deep. But
That's
anyway, I think that's fascinating.
It's crazy. I mean, it's just crazy. So, and then, the one thing that the community and I were chatting about, and it was really interesting and cool, was the fact that, like, just take the telephone. I was talking about the rotary phone. I said, do you ever remember the rotary phone where you had to memorize phone numbers because you had to get it just right in order for it, or if you messed up, you had to hit the little thing and hang it up real quick and start over. So you really memorize those numbers. And I remember when it turned over into the push button, I was
Yeah.
so excited because then I was learning patterns. I didn't necessarily remember the numbers, but I remember patterns. And I know, like I said, we talked about this in our community in the
Yeah.
backstage match. It was
So what's
so
funny
crazy.
about push button phones, I remember the first push button phone we got, and I was so excited because I was no longer going to have to wait for that. Right? Right? Guess what my push
Exactly.
button phone did?
What did it did?
You'd push a button and it would go.
Oh, serious.
Not even kidding. Not even kidding. So it was
Oh,
zero
that's
improvement.
terrible.
Zero
That's
improvement.
terrible.
But
That's
there
so
it ended
funny.
up there ended up being a setting that you could change, but who knew for like a long time. I can't
That's
tell you how long it was. I don't
hilarious.
remember. But yeah, it was
That's so
annoying as all
funny.
get out. But
That's
okay, so
funny.
you mentioned the rotary phone and dialing like
Yeah.
that. I remember my grandma talking about party lines. Does anybody in the audience
Oh,
remember
yes.
using a party line, or when the like 2 rings meant it was for your
Mhm.
house, or 3 rings meant it was for
Mhm.
somebody else's house, so you don't pick up, or do you pick up? You know what I mean?
Yeah, I know. Yeah, very secretly kinda listen in, right? That's
Yeah,
one of those
right,
kinda deal.
right,
Yeah,
right.
no, 100%. I remember going to my grandmother's house where they still had that. Well, I was very young, but I mean, I remember that, and they lived out in the country, so that's all they had. It was interesting. I
It
thought that
wasn't
was
even
really
called a
interesting.
phone. Wasn't it called like a call box? Isn't that what they
Probably.
called it, I think? I don't
Pro
remember.
I
Anyway.
don't know.
Anyway,
I
let's see. Hold on, we got some comments going in. I remember
Okay.
the introduction of the transistor radio, and
Oh, that's
now it
right.
isn't even remembered by today's upcoming generation. Wow.
That was part of my conversation before with you, Heather, is talking about,
Yeah.
how this is coming out and this is new technology and now it's not even existent. That is just
Yeah,
crazy. Yeah, that's a
exactly,
perfect
exactly.
example.
Listening to the neighbors on the
Yeah,
party line.
neighbors on the party
Exactly.
line. Yeah, yeah,
Crank
yeah.
phone and party line is my first memory. Awesome.
Oh,
Thanks for
yeah,
joining Livestream Solutions. We're glad you're here.
yeah.
Yes, party lines were so interesting. That's how you get the best gossip, right?
Well, I think you can look at it
My
that way.
hairdresser has a sign up on the wall that says, "We frown on repeating gossip." So if you could just speak loud enough the first time, that'd be great. Um,
Perfect. Perfect. There you go.
so it's interesting that you mentioned phones, and obviously we know the cell phone is this incredible device that everybody carries around. And you mentioned remembering phone numbers and having to
Yeah.
memorize them. Who remembers phone numbers these days? Like nobody.
No, I don't. I mean, I actually mentioned that. I
Yeah,
mentioned
'cause
that in the group. I said, I don't even know my wife's phone number. That's terrible, but I don't.
I
just
know,
don't
it's true. It's true. I had to look up my dad's phone number because I do not know what his number is, because I carry my Rolodex with me everywhere I go. Remember Rolodexes? Like, who
Rolodex,
remembers
that's
a
right.
Rolodex, right?
That's
I
right.
just
Exactly.
dated myself by saying that word, but whatever.
Oh,
But
people
I
still
mean,
have them.
that's true. I work for those
Yeah.
people. But anyway, so then so so then you talk about
Nothing while
carrying
watching.
around a Rolodex,
Yes.
Remember, business cards were a thing, right? You'd
Oh,
have to
absolutely.
give out your business cards. You couldn't
Yep.
function without that thing.
I
And
remember
then,
having all those books of business cards with the oh my God, it was crazy.
yeah,
But anyway.
yeah, no, that's where I was going was, you have a day timer that's like the size of a huge
That's
book,
right.
very thick, and
That's
it's got
very good.
pages and pages of all the very important business cards you have to carry, right?
Yeah. Crazy. Just crazy. Yeah. It's interesting. But even technology, like I was talking to just recently, I have my mom's uncle. So whatever that is, I'm not here to do genealogy or geneography or geology or something. One of those ologies orographies
Gotcha.
or something. I don't know. But anyway, he had turned 100. And so
Okay.
just to have conversation with him and
Yeah.
listen to him chat and talk about like no highways, or highways
Yeah.
were just coming into effect.
Yeah.
And some of the cars and some of the, I mean, just the stuff that he grew up around and all of this technology. There was no TV or whatever. It was all radio and stuff. And so it was really, really fascinating. It was really fascinating to hear him talk about. And anybody that doesn't know this, I'm from Williamsport, Pennsylvania, where Little League started. And he was from there as well. So we would tell Little League stories in this, I mean, when it started and how just something like that has evolved. You're talking about how the game has evolved and stuff.
Yeah.
Just in equipment and different things. And
Yes. Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. So
I mean, think about it.
how
It
does
used to be a wooden baseball bat, right? Like there was just a wooden baseball bat. Now they've got specific types of bats that are utilized for different. I mean, it's just fascinating to me that there's technology within something so
platinum,
arbitrary as
titanium, all those things with an "ium" at the end, whatever. I don't know, just aluminum, tinfoil, something. I don't know.
Tinfoil, yeah. All right. So Jolin says, for international communications in the early 70s at Children's Television Workshop, we used the telex and TWX machines, paper tape feed, to send information. Oh my gosh, now you're going to talk about fax machines. Like kids today have no idea what a fax even is, right?
Right.
She also said I was the one they called in the office when they didn't work. Yep, I've been tinkering since 1970.
Yeah, I hear you.
I remember my childhood number, but not the number of my kids. Yep, I understand.
Wow, yeah, there you go. What?
Hey, Dr. Buchanan. We're so glad you made it.
That's
Hi,
right. I saw that he had his 70th birthday. That is fantastic. That is so awesome.
And he's celebrating on the Canary Islands. That's pretty awesome.
That is pretty cool.
Super jealous.
Hey, drink one for me, please.
That's right.
There you go.
Two. You're gonna have to do two, one for each of us.
There you go.
Nookie says hi. There's our Canadian Canuck gal.
Nice.
Exactly. Yep. A far bit from home, just a little bit. Yep.
There you go.
And I like the new time, Nookie says. Well, I'm glad because I can
That's what it is. That's what it is. Yeah, exactly. Good. I'm glad it works out for you. That's perfect.
Having a ball in a bar with a great singer. Well, that's awesome.
Well, good. That's
so
fantastic.
Cool.
Yes.
And then
Shies?
I don't know.
Have really advanced. I don't know.
Oh. Competitive swimsuits. Okay. All right. Running shoes. Okay. I'm interpreting. Right. I'm interpreting for Andrew because we're really good partners in plus words, so I know what he's meaning. Running shoes have really advanced, to say nothing of competitive swimsuits. There you go.
There you go.
String bean, right, buddy? All right.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So all of the sports, there's tons of sports things that we could have a conversation about the tech that's improved. But
Very
then
true.
you mentioned cars, and
Yeah.
this is, if anybody's had any issues with having to have a car worked on, you can totally relate to this. My grandfather was a diesel mechanic. And it doesn't
That's
matter
so cool.
which vehicle it was, you pulled up into his driveway, he could tell you before you got out of the car what was wrong with it, just by
Yep.
listening to it. He'd
Yep.
climb up into that hood, get up into his elbows, have a
It's
stick
so
of chewing
cool.
gum and a clothespin, and he'd fix it. Okay? No
Yep.
problem. Today, I'm pretty sure my grandfather would tell you to go somewhere, and not in a good way, with that
Yeah.
machine, because he would not even want to
Mhm.
open the hood. I'm certain of it. Too many
It's
computers
interesting.
inside.
Yeah, I mean, it's just so crazy. There's a guy, the building that we're in at work, okay, we do construction, but there's two
Yeah.
other businesses inside there. The one at the end is a brand new one that moved in. All they sell is computer chip boards for all those things you're talking about, for any kind of car, every car and any kind of car. He said when this started changing, and I knew this was coming up, he says, I started just getting started. Yeah, I said I'm gonna be the place to get this. And let me tell you what, his business is booming.
He does a lot of business.
He
Well,
does
you
a
know,
lot of business because sometimes it's just a matter of going.
fascinating. Yeah, it's fascinating because without that computer board, that motherboard, whatever working,
It's nuts.
the thing won't move.
I know.
Like,
I know.
you know, the lights. It's just the lights, okay? But the car won't move.
That's right. It's like
My grandfather,
like
if
even
he
a
had
key.
anything to do
there's
with
no
any of this,
key.
yeah,
You just
forget it.
push a button.
Yeah. Yeah. He would lose his ever-loving mind, I promise. So let's see. 𝘀𝐿𝐬𝐿𝐿𝐿 says, I
think
bought
I want to be. Yeah, go ahead.
I love this. This is so technical. I love this, 𝘀𝐿𝐬𝐿𝐿𝐿. This is great. I bought a USB thingy on Amazon to plug into my old car that would diagnose and give codes.
There you go.
And I bet it used Bluetooth to talk to your phone to tell you how to read it. I bet.
And I bet it's called a thingy too.
With an app thingy on my phone.
There you go.
Got
there
it.
You go.
I knew it. We have one of those. That's how come I know, because there's no way my grandfather would ever help me with my car. No way.
Right. Exactly. No, it's come a long way. There's good things about
it.
Yeah.
We can't complain, right? We can't complain because everything is positive and has been very helpful. So yeah. Yeah, I mean, well, you talk about good technology in a car. You used to have to feed 4 horses 6 hay bales to get 12 miles down the road, right? Because you'd never go state to state in your old car that from 75 years ago. But today we can travel across the country in a huge motorhome and go visit our friends and that kind of stuff. And the technology is a little better because I only had to feed 15 barrels of gasoline to my motor. Never mind, it's not improved at all.
So let's narrow this down a little bit, and let's ask the question: how has tech evolved for you? So, for example, just in your day-to-day life, say from 10, 20 years ago, maybe not so far back, but let's just think back at some things like go ahead. You're first.
Yeah, okay. So listen, we just moved into a new place, and one thing that we took for granted was my husband still uses. Raise your hand if you do too. An alarm clock. Okay, does anybody still use an alarm clock? Because I don't. And so we're getting ready for bed, and he reached over to go do the norm that he normally does, and there's no alarm clock to turn the alarm clock on for the next day. And he was like, I forgot to pick up my alarm clock. And I'm like, that is why my alarm clock is right here. So that was That anybody in the audience still use an alarm clock? I'd
this
love
is
to know.
interesting. I have an alarm clock, okay, that I
Mhm.
do not use as an alarm clock. All it is a big digital number so I can see in the middle of the night because I have to
Yes.
take my contacts out.
Only counts if you use it as an alarm clock. Okay, you can only say you do.
Okay, I put my hand down. Put my
Oh,
hand
I
down.
love you, Nookie. Check it out. He is a dinosaur, Heather. Yep,
Yeah.
for sure.
There
For
you go.
sure. Changes in technology in the last 20 years has made it possible for me to meet all of you.
Valid point.
That's
Valid point.
genius, Mike. Genius. Andrew has to run. Have fun backstage. Yes, I do use an alarm clock. Yes, he does.
All righty. That's good to know. Yeah, just one thing that's interesting for me, I think, is just so on the things that we talked about, how the cell phone in the last 20 years or beepers. Remember beepers?
Oh, yes.
When those came about, everybody was like, "Oh my God, I gotta have one of those!" And then they would leave
Remember
a message on there, whatever.
the pager numbers, right? Like you'd get a message and it would be all these digits, and then you'd have to go look it up and see what it says.
Yes. Yes. And then even vehicles 20 years ago have evolved and changed in a lot of just a lot of things that they do now. And like keyless, that's a perfect example, is keyless. Keyless entry into my home.
Oh, good point. Good point.
Just
smart homes
like
in
that.
general. Like, you're a huge fan of smart home. And Jolyn, speaking of, I love my Nest thermostat that I operate via Wi-Fi and can check my home temperature from anywhere and cool or warm up my place on the way home. Exactly.
Yeah, I left a message in the community today, and I mentioned that Chromebooks in 2011 came out. That was the first Chromebook. This is the anniversary.
2011, really?
Yeah, I know. Isn't that crazy?
11 years ago?
Yeah, isn't that crazy? So
that does not seem accurate.
I know,
at all.
And that was part of my comment too. I said, "Does this seem like it was forever ago, or does this seem like, oh my God, that was just yesterday?" Yeah. So I wanted to see what everybody's responses were to that and everything. So yeah.
Wow.
I know. It's pretty crazy. So
Mike mentioned that he does have an alarm clock, but the time is likely wrong, which is also accurate for my husband's. And if I want to know the time during the night, I just ask the A unit. Yes, understood. Gotcha. Hey, check it out. Water Colors with Michael popping in.
Hey there. How are you? So good to see you. I hadn't seen you in a while. Yeah, right. Absolutely.
Glad you made it.
Yes. We are finishing up talking about technology 50 years ago, 75 years ago, and then how the tech has evolved for you. That's the conversation. We're going to start by ending. No, we're going to end this up here pretty quickly. Yeah, we're going to end this up fairly quickly, but I wanted to make a note that we will be in the backstage pass for any community members, that kind of stuff. Next week, I go to New York with Google. But I will be here for the show. I'll be here for the show on Wednesday, and then I fly out Thursday. So I will be here. We will have a show. So we'll talk. I don't know what we'll talk about. We'll see. We'll find out. But after I get back, that next show, I may have some people on that I went and visited and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, I'm excited. Cool. I'm excited. So yeah, it should be a lot of fun.
Will you be doing anything live from the Google event in New York, do you think?
I want to. We talked
maybe if you pop up like with just like an I'm outside type of deal, just some
the Geeks on Tour. Chris and Jim, we talked about it because Chris is going. So maybe Chris and I will do something live out there. And so, yeah, we're both talking about maybe to both of our channels or either of our channels.
So where would you announce that you were going to do something live? Like, where should I be signed up or subscribed or notifications turned on?
Oh, I like that.
Where would I do that? Like YouTube?
Subscribe to my channel. Yeah, subscribe to my channel.
So if you're going to go live, I definitely YouTube, subscribed, notifications turned on. We'll make sure that I will see those live videos. Okay,
exactly.
Excellent.
Yeah, because we're going to announce it before we do it. I mean, that way that gives the people a little bit of time to see it. And then sometimes it might just be spontaneous too. One of the first. Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Glad you made it, Mark, and glad you were able to chime in. So that is actually a pretty useful piece of technology that I think most of us take for granted big
Exactly.
time. Like we don't even
Yes.
think about, especially because you can go to the dollar store or
I
$1.25
know.
store, whatever it is
Yeah.
now, the
Yeah.
$4 store,
$17 store.
and you can buy them so cheaply.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yes, because it
Anyway.
was a pain before that using the abacus. I just could never get that thing. I could never
I was just
understand that
thinking
thing.
kicking off my shoes and having to use my toes. But yeah, you're
Oh,
right.
I
The
see.
abacus was tough. You're right.
It was difficult. But anyway, all right, we're going to end it. We're going to go.
Yeah.
We're going to get going. Thank you so much, everybody. We appreciate you. Thank you. Thank you. We will see any members. Come on into the Backstage Pass. You know how to get there. Heather will most likely put a link. Hopefully, put a link over there so you guys can click and go in there. Thank you so much, Heather. Thank you so much. I appreciate you. And we will see you folks next week before a trip to New York. So there you go. Thanks all.
Bye, everybody. Bye.